Just finished season 1 of Batman Caped Crusader. So let's talk about it, specifically episodes 8 through 10, because I've done reviews on reactions on the other episodes. And this is also going to touch on the season as a whole, and definitely going to talk about some spoilers here. So here's your warning. If you haven't finished Batman Caped Crusader, finish it up and come back and let me know what you thought. First, let's talk about the episodes. Episode 8, Nocturne, was a pretty decent episode. There was, it started off a little, I was a little wonky, but like as the episode went on, it was really good and a very well told story. Also, this comes through with some of the stuff prior in the season. Harvey talking to Rupert Thorne and getting money for him to help his mayoral campaign, and Bruce. And this episode also introduces Leslie Tompkins. And this episode also introduces Dickie, Jace, Steffi, and Carrie, who are all orphans, and if those names sound familiar, they are future Robins. Now, they don't specifically name Dick Grayson, Jason Todd. They do specifically name Stephanie Brown, so who knows if these are actually this world's Robins, and if this Batman, the Caped Crusader, will get a Robin eventually, and if it's going to be one of these kids or one of the well-known Robins. It could be Tim Drake, who they didn't name in this episode. This episode also showed Killer Croc, or Frodo Killer Croc, before he becomes Killer Croc. So he's still green. He's just Waylon Jones there. It was really good. I love the stuff with Harvey kind of, trying to campaign and be a mayor. This was like the first episode I actually enjoyed Harvey's character. And I really wish at the end of the episode it was that Leslie knew that Bruce was Batman. But speaking of the end of the episode, we finally get the acid on the face for Harvey, transforming him into Two-Face. So brings us on to episode 9, The Killer Inside, which is the start of the Two-Face origin. Harvey's dropped out of the mayor race. He's dropped out of being DA. And he's just has this inner voice talking to him, telling him that he's a monster, he's a freak, he's scary. Bruce makes a mistake by trying to take him out, pretending like nothing happened in order to help get information on who did this to Harvey, but it kind of backfires and Harvey rips off his bandages and kind of reveals himself as Two-Face. Harvey then tracks down Tony Zito, who is this world's Tony Zuko, the person who killed Dick Grayson's parents. And he starts this warpath against Thorne and his men. This Two-Face story was a really good story. It reminded me a lot of the Two-Face story from The Dark Knight, and seeing Alfred try to remind Bruce that he pushed Harvey too much, and Bruce not really caring, but towards the end of the episode he regrets that decision that he made to try to bring him out to get information from him, playing it off as he was trying to help him. Episode 9 and 10 were basically part 1 and part 2, so let's go on to episode 10. Episode 10, the season finale, Savage Night. This was the Two-Face story. He was captured by Batman. He's in jail. He wants to, face the judgment for what he's done, and he doesn't want to have any special treatment. He wants justice. He killed people. He wants justice. Bruce tries to help him. Barbara tries to help him, try to get him deals, try to do this, but he says, I need to face justice. On my first episode reaction, I had talked about how I didn't feel like this Harvey was about justice and about Gotham, but I think after the accident, that Harvey that I wanted to see really came out. I wish that we saw more of that in the season. But of course, Flass and Bullock kidnap him and bring him to the docks, but Barbara stops them and they end up at the dock. Flass kills Dent, but Dent is trying to protect Barbara because that gun is pointed at Barbara, not Dent. So Dent's last act was a selfless act. But then after Dent dies, Batman picks up a gun, and the only shot you see is him holding the gun, and all you hear is the firing. You hear about 5 shots fired, and I literally dropped my jaw. I thought Batman legitimately killed Flass. But you find out that he shot holes all around his head before knocking him out. And honestly, like I said in one of my other videos, I was so happy when Flass finally got knocked out. His character was a son of a bitch. I hope Flass goes away and Harvey Bullock can exist without Flass, because I always enjoyed the Harvey Bullock character in Batman the Animated Series and in Gotham. Yes, he's somewhat dirty, he takes bribes, but he's never been this bad. Or at least portrayed this bad in the Animated Series or Gotham or anything else that we've seen him in. The season ends with Batman, looking at a button for vote Dent and, realizing what he's done and, that this war on Gotham is going to take more than just him, Barbara Gordon, Renee Montoya, and Commissioner Gordon, but he likes those odds and he's going to still fight for Gotham. He also has this last moment where he's threatening Rupert Thorne, and we look across the way and we see this beautiful shot, very homage to Batman the Animated Series. The lightning, the look in the costume looks so good. But just after this amazing moment, we cut to a pre-credit scene and we see some people being experimented on with some sort of laughing disease, maybe. I don't know. I don't know any characters like that, but all we see is this kind of pale-faced person who has this needle with him and says that the formula is perfect. A laughing villain. I don't know any laughing villains about Batman. Do you know who this could be? And of course, this is the Joker of the Batman Caped Crusader universe, who will probably be more introduced in season 2. Season as a whole, this was a very well told Batman story. I loved the Golden Age 1940s noir theme that fits really well with the Batman character and the Batman world. I had said in one of my other videos reacting to one of the episodes, Bruce calls Alfred Pennyworth. That's all he calls him. And at the end of the episode, at the end of the season, he starts to call him Pennyworth, but stops and says, "Thank you, Alfred." And there's that shot of Alfred, smiling. This, as I've mentioned, I love this kind of telling of a young, brash Batman learning how to be Batman. Just this persona of Batman being this vengeance of Gotham isn't all he needs to be, because he can learn to work with others. He's learning to work with Gordon and Montoya and Barbara Gordon. Who knows if we'll see her as Batgirl. And just growing as a crime fighter and the protector of Gotham. This was a very well told story, and I'm very excited to see, if there is a season 2. I also still can't believe that I believe this show was originally slated for HBO Max, but they decided not to pick it up. I don't know if they ever saw any of this footage or any of this material, because this story and the storytelling from Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams, Bruce Timm, it's next level. It's like the animated series from the 90s turned up to 11, and I know I said that before, but it's so true. It uses so many of those same themes, but it's made for people who grew up with that and are my age. Aside from the Joker, who was teased at the end of the season, who do you hope to see in season 2 of Batman Caped Crusader, if there is one? I don't know if it's been officially announced yet, but let's hope. And what did you think of Batman Caped Crusader season 1?